but also featuring Max Osawa on drums, Emma Taylor on bass, and our very own Chip McNeil on piano. And if you stick around late enough, you might even hear some tenor sax. So come out.
Great.
It'll be $10 cover. Unfortunately, it is 21 and over because, you know, it's a bar. They have the liquor license. They don't want to lose it. But anybody who is 21 and over, please, if you can, come out.
Jazz Up Front's in Bloomington, Illinois. It's about 30, 40 minutes from here.
Damn, I live there and I
Yeah.
can't get a gig there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
you had picked the date I was originally going to have.
Oh, really?
So it's usually 8 to 11 if you go over there, so go check that out. Okay, anything else? Other gigs? Yes, sir.
I don't know if anybody mentioned Ron Carter's tomorrow.
Yes, that's a big deal. At Cranard Performing Arts Center, he's doing a trio gig, I believe. So go check out one of the greatest jazz bassists ever in the history of the music. Ron Carter is here, so I would highly recommend, if you aren't already committed to some kind of a gig, go check it out. I would be there if I didn't have a gig. So, but go check it out. I'm sure, I don't know if they're streaming that or not, maybe not. But I would go check it out if you can, okay? Anything else? Yes, Stefan.
I mentioned it earlier, but I just wanted to reiterate Pat Harbison's Jazz Combo is playing at Seven Saints next Thursday. From 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay, yep, that's posted up on the sheet out here, so if you want to check out dates, please do, okay? Anything else that we got? Oh, Glenn, yeah, sorry.
Tomorrow, my 501c3 Further Jazz, we're doing our second annual Further Jazz Festival over in Bloomington at the Connie Link Amphitheater. It goes from 4 to 9 p.m. We have 5 groups. The Illinois State Big Band, Rory Stewart and I are going to play a set, or possibly Chip and I. We got Carlos Vega Latin Jazz Ensemble, and Oliver Nelson Jr. is coming over, and we're doing the music from Blues and the Abstract Truth. So it's all free. Bring a chair.
All right, so go check it out. Please do that. All right, without further ado, how about a hand for our guest, Glenn Wilson?
Thank you. I have further ado, actually. Yeah, if Rory was here, Rory taught at the New School for many, many years. Some of his students you know, like Robert Glasper
Oh, yeah.
and Becca Stevens, and he's taught a lot of people that went on and became pretty famous in jazz. Of course, they treat the faculty there like shit, and most of them have now quit, so the whole program is down the tubes. But it used to be a really good program at the New School in New York City. Don't put that on the stream. Yeah, it's too late.
Well, too late.
Am I allowed to curse on here? Will we
I wouldn't, but
Don't?
if you can help it.
You have to have the bleeper on afterwards.
I can't help it. Oh, yeah, you could beep it? All right. Anyway, if Rory was here, he would be showing you his 6-volume set of rhythm books. He wrote a 6-volume set of nothing but rhythm, talking about all kinds of rhythms from around the world. And he gets people involved in these rhythmic exercises that blow your brain, blow your mind. But he's not here today, so we're not going to do any of that. But if you're interested in rhythm, if you're a composer and you're interested in all kinds of rhythms from around the world and how to notate them, he's got hundreds and hundreds of excerpts, musical excerpts, and online bits where you can listen to this stuff. So RoryStewart.com is his website, and that would take you to his rhythm books if you're interested in that. But Rory and I did a duo record back in 1990, and I don't know why, but we did. It was guitar and baritone, and we liked it a lot, and so we kept doing it over the years, and nobody's ever done another one, I don't think, of baritone, sax, and guitar. So it's the only record in jazz history so far.
Wow.
Go do one right away. Where's
Yeah,
that?
right.
No, but anyway, so it's been really great for us because we can tour just with 2 people, and we get in a vehicle and we go wherever, and we can play duo, and sometimes at a jazz club or something we might pick up a bass and drummer, and you know, as you guys know now, you send out the PDFs, you send out the recordings, people learn the music, you show up and you play and you have a group. So it's been very interesting since I've been retired to get really back into the music business, the jazz business, and figure out what the heck's going on. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that later if you want to. Yeah.
I'm curious, one question, when you're playing in a duo, because obviously like the most common sets that you see in like duos or trios is often tenor, how do you think of the sonority of a baritone where it's like you don't want to necessarily step on the bass range, but at the same time you don't want to always be playing maybe in the upper register.
Well, there's no bass range on a guitar, right?
Yeah,
Theoretically. So I can do anything. I can play bass lines behind Rory. I can play little hits like you would have in a big band. I could play whole notes and just try to accompany the harmony. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can do with just guitar. And that's a big challenge for me because I'm playing all the time, right? You play your solo and now you can't rest. You got to play behind the other person. So for me, it's the hardest playing I do because I basically have to play the whole time. So that's a challenge. But yeah, whatever. I mean, if you heard us play, you know, we don't stick to any necessarily time or chord changes, right? We might be playing a tune and all of a sudden I'll play something so out and Rory will go with me and all of a sudden there's no time for a while and then we're back in. So it's really freeing, you know, that way. It's not like you have to figure out where the form is and am I in the right place all the time. You know, it's just really two people sort of conversing and improvising together, which is a blast. But actually, we'll be at the Rose Bowl on the 25th, Rory and I. So I think the 5 o'clock show or whatever it is, the early show. So if you want to come out and hear us do that, and we're going to be doing a little tour here coming up. We're going to Southern and Eastern and Western Illinois and down in Kentucky and Nashville, and then over to Ohio for a couple gigs. We're going to be in your neighborhood, Ohio Northern, and then a couple gigs in Wisconsin with one of our alumni, Matt Endress, who's up there at Madison. So anyway, that's a whole big deal, booking tours, et cetera, et cetera. We could talk about that, and we can talk a little bit about the music business too if you want. But Chip and I are going to play the title cut from our CD. Tune that Chip wrote called Sadness and Soul. And I'm going to look at it because we haven't played it in, what, a couple years? Wherever you like it.
Ding.
Okay, what do you want to know? Anything?
We wanna know.
What do you want to know?
Well, maybe talk about the like putting the tours together, lining up the
Yeah.
grants and stuff.
Putting a tour together
I mean,
is a matter of finding one gig, basically. Right? You find one gig somewhere that pays enough to go there. And then you look around and you go, okay, well, we're going to be in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So Nashville's only an hour away. Let's see if I can play in Nashville. Then once you're there, you say, okay, well, if we came down this way, we could get. So it's pretty easy with the internet now to figure out where jazz is happening in most cities, you know. Jazz in Memphis. I'm going to be in Memphis, so I look up jazz in Memphis, and I find all these clubs that have since closed, or clubs that haven't opened yet, or the Memphis Jazz Society, or whatever. And so you contact them and you say, hey, we're going to be coming through. What I found when booking tours is it's much better to call up a place or email a place and say, can I play there on April 12th at your place? Rather than, I'm coming through in the spring on a tour and we'd love to be able to play there. Because if you say, can I play there April 12th, and they look it up and you can, then they go, okay, April 12th, you got it. But it's better to be much more specific about when you want to play there and why, right? Look it up and go, hey, I see your club is a blah, blah, blah. That's really cool, right? It takes like 5 minutes to look up some shit on their website so that you can talk stuff, I mean, so that you can talk intelligently to the person who's doing the booking, right? Oh, I see you have jazz on Thursdays and you have a piano and a bass player there. Well, guess what? We're a guitar and a saxophone. We could play the same Thursday and we'd love to do it and blah, blah, blah. Then they go, how much do you want, right? So that's always the stickler, right? You got to have a number in mind, but you don't want to price yourself out. So I always ask first, what's your budget? And if they say, oh, our budget is $1,000, I'll do it. You know, oh, our budget is $200. I can't do it for 200, but could you do 500? You know, whatever. In other words, find out what they're going to spend on the group and work it around. They're always going to ask you how much you want to play there, right? They probably do that already. You guys are doing gigs and you get the door or whatever, you know. So
Or a guarantee occasionally.
or a guarantee plus the door. The biggest jazz club in Nashville is called Rudy's Jazz Room. Anybody ever been there? Yeah. And so we got a gig there in April as we were touring in the spring in the South, and we had the 5 o'clock show on a Saturday. And the guy says, we'll guarantee you $250 for the band and then 40% of the door. Well, I don't know anybody in Nashville really to come out and support me. So we just figured it was going to be a lost night, but we'd get to play in a cool club in Nashville. Well, the place was sold out. We walked up, we got there, and there was a line around the corner to come in and hear us. It wasn't to hear us, I guess. It was just because this is the only jazz club in Nashville. And if people are in Nashville and they're sick of country music and they want to go hear jazz, let's go to this place, Rudy's. The next show after us, Joel Fromm was playing tenor sax. That was sold out. We couldn't even stick around and hear the show because it was totally sold out. The third show was almost sold out at 11 o'clock. So it's like, great. So I called the guy back and I said, we're coming back down there. Can we play again? Sure. Anyway, the long story short, we made $700 that night for the band, which turned out to be okay, right? And they also run a Venmo. They run my Venmo during the gig on the live stream. So we got another $80 on Venmo or something while we were playing. So, you know, you just never know. Sometimes a guarantee can work out and sometimes it doesn't, but you have to be prepared not to get paid. I also have a 501c3 and I apply for grants.
Yeah.
So my spring tour with Rory, we applied for a grant from South Arts, the Jazz Road. And it was for people who are touring the South, right? Well, we already had this whole tour booked. We didn't even know about this grant. So we had this whole tour booked in Atlanta and Florida and everywhere. And so I applied for the grant, which took forever because it was like 12 pages, right? How do you think this tour will affect your career? What, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all these questions. It's sponsored by the Doris Duke Foundation, so it's federal tax dollars, right? And they want to know all this stuff. So I filled out the whole grant, and we ended up getting $7,500 to support the tour, which basically paid for the whole tour, so any money we made was profit. So it was kind of cool to actually take off on tour and say, hey, we're not going to lose money for sure, because we got this grant, right? Those grants are easy to get, but sometimes you have to have a nonprofit. And when I taught music business, I showed people how to set up their own nonprofit, 501c3. If you guys aren't already doing your own Schedule Cs for taxes, for your music business, you should be, right? Start your music business as soon as you get some money coming in. If anybody pays you with a 1099, how many people have been paid with a, yeah, so you gotta deduct that stuff, right? So start filing your Schedule C and count it as income. Even if your parents still have you as a dependent, you can still file a Schedule C for your music business and take your expenses. You can lose money every 2 out of 5 years. So if you start it right now, you can lose money for the first 2 years. Write off all your stuff you bought, whatever you used, whatever tour expenses you had. The third year, you want to show some profit. So it's easy with tax software now to go, hey, I need to show a profit this year. How am I going to do that? Well, I won't take this deduction or that deduction. It's worth it, right? Okay, so I lost $80 in deductions, but now I've shown a profit this year. Now I can lose money next year. Whatever. There's a way to play that whole system with taxes that works out to our advantages as artists. I have my own Schedule C I've been filing for 50 years. Well, the state of Illinois came out with $50 million recently for restaurants, hotels, and performing artists to make up for COVID losses, right? So I had to send them a bunch of my tax returns for a number of years, but they saw at some point, yeah, this guy's legit. I made $80 the year of COVID. I had one gig in January, I think, with Chip, and that was it for the whole year of 2020, right? So I turned in but I still had my music union dues, I still had my horn insurance, I still had all my expenses, right? So I took a loss that year. So I sent them the thing, and they're gonna give me like, the minimum grant is $5,000, but they said I could get up to $10,000. So they're just gonna hand me this money because I lost money during COVID. But if I wouldn't have been hip to it or checked it out, so there's all kinds of websites for grants and things like that that you can follow along. Did you have a question, Leon?
I think you already answered it.
Did I? Okay. So yeah, there's ways to make a living in music, but you know, the truth is you gotta love what you're doing. There's no point in doing it, right? If you don't love what you're doing and playing when you get there, Phil Woods used to say, you know, you pay me for all the other stuff. I play the gig for free.
Yeah.
What you're paying me for is getting to the gig and doing all the other bullshit that I have to do, right, around it. But the 2 hours every night that I play, that's free.
That's it.
And that's kind of the way you have to look at it, right? This is what I want to do. I mean, Rory was hit by a car in New York City about a month ago. He has a ruptured hamstring, right? So he had surgery, he had another surgery, he went to his doctor on Tuesday, and they said, yeah, you can fly on Thursday. So he tried to fly yesterday, but he didn't get out. But point being, he loves the music so much that he's gonna be hobbling around on crutches for 2 weeks while we go out on this tour just to play the music. So that's how much he loves it. I don't think I would have done that if I was him, but Rory, I'll see you tomorrow, maybe. All right, any other quick questions?
So maybe a little, just real quick, maybe about your background, like when you were in school. You know, what got you started?
Well, my high school band director had a, what did they call it? Stage band.
Stage band.
At the time, right?
Concert stage.
Yeah, and played in jazz. But then, when I was a senior in high school, my college director in the town there, Tony Leonardi, was at my high school, and he said, hey, we need a Barry player in the jazz band at college, and if you want to play Barry, you can do it. So that was it. So from then on, I've been a Barry player. But I played all through college. Our band went to the Wichita Jazz Festival in 1976, and we won the best big band and the best combo. And nobody knew who we were or where we were from or what the hell was going on. So we had this great program at Youngstown State, and similar to what you guys have here. I mean, you're so fortunate to be able to study with these master musicians and learn this music straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So that was great. And then I moved to New York City in 1977 when the city was bankrupt, basically. Apartments were cheap, everything was cheap, and not like now. But, you know, it was a lot more dangerous stuff going on, but that was okay, we didn't mind. I'd come out of a Latin club at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, right, and people were going to church, and you're coming out after playing all night long, or whatever. But there was so many gigs in those days, gigs everywhere, all the time, so. And you didn't have to create your own. If word got out that you played, people would call you, and you could choose what you wanted to do. There was a lot of studio work at the time before sampling kind of came in. You had to go in there and play the part,
Yeah.
you know, but now they just sample it and fake it and nobody knows the difference. But talk to Jim Pugh about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
He did a lot of that studio work. So the work changes, right? But for me, I never wanted to do what they called club dates, which were like wedding gigs and stuff in New York. It was too hard to do. I didn't have a car, and it was just not what I wanted to do. So I got into word processing really early when it was first coming in, and I worked at this law firm 12 hours a day on Saturday and 12 hours on Sunday, and that was my whole nut. And then the whole rest of the week, I didn't have to do anything except go to jazz clubs and play. You couldn't really go to the clubs on the weekend anyway because they were all full of tourists, right? So most of the time we would go to the club on a Wednesday or a Thursday or Tuesday. So that worked out great for me. And then I taught myself programming, and I worked in computers for a while. Then I learned to program websites, and this is what I tell my music business class. The more skills you have, the more you'll work in this business, right? If you can do graphic design and you can build a website, you go, hey, you do my graphics for my album cover, I'll put a website up for you, right? It's a barter system. Music a lot of times now is a barter system. Nobody has money to hire this person or that person, but if you can barter your skills, you know, Martin Atkins tells a famous story about the studio in England where they needed an intern, and all these people came in and interviewed, and the guy they hired got hired because he knew how to take care of fish, and they had a huge tropical fish tank in the lobby. And he came into the interview and said, oh, I see you got this kind of fish and that. He goes, you know, these two fish shouldn't be in the same thing. They're going to eat each other. And the guy was like, you got the job. It had nothing to do with his engineering skills,
That's great.
right? But he knew how to take care of fish. So that's just a little story. But the more skills you have, the better. And there's a website called Bandzoogle. Anybody hip to that? Bandzoogle? Bandzoogle. They have musician websites, right? I'm still of the opinion that you need your own website with all your shit on it, all your stuff on it, right? I don't want to go to Facebook and Instagram and wherever the heck else you are. I want to go to one place, read your bio, hear your music, see some video, whatever it is. So Bandzoogle is for musicians. They charge you one flat fee a month, which is no more than you would pay for hosting for any other website. And they have a video player, an audio player, an email list, a this, a that, a chat group, all this stuff that if you tried to program it yourself, it would take you forever. And it's all right built into the system. You go in there and you say, okay, I want a video player. All right, what's your video? Here it is. Boom, it's up. And it's like so easy, and it's not expensive at all.
Cool.
So I always recommend Bandzoogle if you want to get your site going. Once you get your site going, if you're a composer, right, you put all your music out there. Now somebody says, well, what do you do? Bing, go right here and you'll see everything I do, right? That's what we want. I can't believe how many people, when I was in Chip's position at Illinois Wesleyan, they'd always be emailing you for gigs. Bring me in to do this, bring me in to do that. And I'd be like, okay, and I'd go on their website, and I can't hear them, there's no music. It's like, what?
Yeah, right.
Why do you have a website if I can't hear what you're playing? That's the whole point, man. And so then you got to figure they're hiding out, right?
Yeah, right.
They're hiding out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's cool. Play another one.
Play another
Got time for a couple more. Oh, there you go.
So that's another fun way to play giant steps, right? You don't have to go right, and it's kind of fun to do.
Duo. What do you want to do?
That's on our record.
Cool. Do a trio.
What's that?
Do a trio.
Do a trio?
Who's Max?
minutes. 3 minutes. Yes, sir.
Who's the best Barry saxophonist that people don't talk about often? Because I know we all talk about Jerry, we talk about Pepper, we talk about like Smuley and Ronnie Cuber. Who's a deep cut that people should know about?
Glenn Wilson.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I'm like Little Richard. You see anybody see that show on Little Richard that they did on CNN? He's up there to getting an award, giving an award at the award show, and he goes, "And the best rock and roll record goes to me. You all give me nothing. You never give me nothing." He was right. He never did. He never did. No, I don't know. There's a lot of young Barry players that are playing, but
But I mean from the older cats.
from the older cats, not really. Those are the ones.
How about Leo Parker?
Eh,
Ever hear-
Yes.
he was okay. He was an
He
alto.
had like two albums with Bruno.
He was an alto player,
Yeah.
so I could tell when he was playing the Barry that
Yeah.
that wasn't necessarily his main
Leo
instrument.
Parker, man, he got all that soul.
Soul,
That's
soul
what
is
he got.
important, yeah. Yeah,
That's one thing.
yeah. I mean, Ronnie Cuber and Nick Brignola was a
Nick.
good one. Yeah, Nick was a bebopper, real bebopper, but he could play some Barry.
Yeah.
You know, for me as a Barry player, it's hard when I hear people doubling on it. I can tell it's not really their axe, and you know, so get good at what you're good at, right? As Chip said earlier, figure out what you like, what you can do, and be the best at it, right? And nobody can make your music, nobody, but you, right? So write your own music, create your own music, get together and play. You guys got all these cats to play with, you know, go in a room somewhere and play. That's what we used to do in college. I lived with a drummer, and we'd go in a room and shut the door and just play
Yeah.
drums and sax until I couldn't play anymore. He always could play longer than me. But, you know, play. As Chip said, this is your chance in school to really, you know, and also I always tell my music business classes, look around, these are people you're going to work with the rest of your life. I'm still going back and working with people I went to college with all the time, and so does Chip. You know, that you went to school and with these people, and now they're teaching over here, and guess what? Let's do something together, right? So get together with the people you know, do the music you want to do, right? Everybody's a leader now. There's no sideman scene anymore where you used to come up and get in a big band and then become a leader. Now you're your own leader. So
You gotta organize your own, you know what.
what's that?
You gotta organize your own, you know what.
Yeah. Do your own music, record. Everybody can record now. You got, you know, sometimes what you get on your phone is just as good as what we used to get in the studio. So, you know, always record yourself, listen to yourself play, figure it out, because every time you think you're burning and you record yourself, it usually sucks. And vice versa, right? Oh, I didn't play that good. And then you hear it and you go, oh, that was pretty good. I like that, you know.
Yeah.
But if you don't record it, you're not going to know. You're going to think you were good. Right? What else? Yes.
What was your career and life balance like as someone who also worked outside of music and not solely in the jazz scene?
Outside of music?
Like doing your gigs at jazz clubs and also working in a career that wasn't music.
Yeah. You got to find something to support yourself, right? You're not going to make money as a jazz Barry player necessarily, right? So what else can you do that you can stand to do that can support your music career? You know, people say follow your passion. I like to say nurture your passion. Don't follow it, because you'll follow it right off the cliff, right? Some people do that, but nurture it, keep it alive, keep your passion alive. You know, I'm 69 years old and I've been playing the baritone all these years, so somehow I kept it alive, you know, between all the things I did, raising 2 kids. I've been married 46 years, you know, I have a family, and it's like, but somehow I kept playing the Barry, because that's what I wanted to do. So, you know, keep your passion alive. I run into people all the time, and Chip does too, that, you know, oh, I love saxophone. I used to play it. No. Where is it? I don't know. I gave it. I don't know where it is. I don't know what, you know, it's like you can play an instrument your whole life.
Yeah.
It's like golf. You know, you start golfing now, you can golf till you're 100. And you can play your instrument till you're 100 too, right? So don't lose it. Don't give it up. Once you give it up, it's much harder to get it back, right? Especially if you're a brass player, you guys are screwed. You can't stop at all, or you'll lose it, right? But keep it alive. Keep hope alive.
Yeah, keep playing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, how about a hand for Glenn?
I can hang out for a while, so if you got any questions you were embarrassed to ask.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.